Joined now by Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, out with a new book, Where Do We Keep the Light? Stories from a Life of Service. Governor, thank you for joining us this morning. I know you're stuck there in Pennsylvania because of all the snow. And I want to get to the book, but first, your reaction to the events in Minneapolis this weekend, the shooting of Alex Preddy.
Look, it is just awful, and my heart breaks for Alex Preddy, his family, for Renee Good a few weeks before that. Look, a fundamental responsibility for government is to keep people safe. And part of the way you keep people safe is by building trust between law enforcement and the community. What Donald Trump and the federal government are doing is eroding that trust, is making people less safe. And it is time to terminate this mission led by CBP and ICE, this mission directed by Trump and Vance and Noem to wreak havoc on a community. And we need a full investigation, led, I believe, by the state government, to determine all of the facts surrounding the killing of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Their families deserve that. The community deserves that. And we deserve peace and safety in the community at a time where we see the president and the federal government simply gaslighting us, ratcheting up the temperature and making people less safe.
What do you mean exactly by terminate the mission? You want the CPB and ICE agents to be removed from all American cities?
This mission in Minnesota is compromised. It's been directed by Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Kristi Noem in a way to wreak havoc on a community, in a way that is very clearly violating people's constitutional rights each and every day, and has led to two tragic killings in the streets of people who were not a threat, I believe, to law enforcement. Look, I'm the former chief law enforcement officer of this Commonwealth. I've dealt with police-involved shootings, and I've sent police out on missions routinely. I can tell you that the practices that these ICE and CBP agents are engaged in are not proper police tactics, from their masking to the way they are stopping people simply because they have an accident or because of the color of their skin. This is not proper policing. This mission in Minnesota needs to be terminated.
Do you support the effort by Democrats in Congress to block the funding of the Department of Homeland Security until these reforms are in place that could lead to a partial government shutdown?
You know, I took note of Senator Cortez Masto's plan. She understands the importance of investing in law enforcement, but by withholding the funds for this mission, I think she makes the exact right point. The challenge here, the problem here, pardon me, George, is the direction that these federal agents are receiving, the direction that's coming all the way from the top, from Trump and Vance and Noem. That is compromised. It needs to be terminated. And I would not continue funding this and giving the president a blank check to wreak havoc and undermine people's constitutional rights in our cities.
One of the core principles you enunciate in your book is that we have more that unites us than divides us. You see what's happening in Minneapolis, you see what's happening in the streets of our country, and does it challenge your thesis?
There is no question, George, that there is a lot of darkness out there. There are a lot of challenges. But the reason I set out to write this book is because every day I'm privileged to go out and see people bringing the light in their communities. Sometimes it's in small gestures, sometimes it's in more grand operations. But the bottom line is I see a lot of good. As I was writing this book, of course, and you know this, George, because you were there, my family and I were attacked at the governor's residence, a moment of real darkness for us. But what inspired me afterwards was all the light that was brought by people of all different faiths, from all different backgrounds, who came together and prayed for our family, prayed for our Commonwealth, quite literally strengthened me and helped me heal. I see these acts every day of people who are making real change in their communities. And so I would hope that even in these serious moments, even in these moments where I know we are consumed by this darkness, particularly coming out of Minneapolis right now, let's not forget that there are people in the world doing good, bringing light each day. And this book seeks to highlight those individuals doing that work and the way they've inspired me into a life of service.
And how do public officials like you inspire that kind of light?
I think what we try to do is speak and act with moral clarity. We do, quite frankly, the opposite of what we've seen this president and vice president do in the wake of the killing of Alex Preddy. You know, I'm a father of four, George. The idea that, God forbid, a million times over, this type of pain would be inflicted on my family, and then the leader of the free world and his sidekick would go out and attack my child the way this president did, would make it harder for a community to heal, would throw gasoline on the fire. That is not the kind of leadership we need right now. I do think we have people modeling that good behavior in elected office. I think we've got a whole lot more people, frankly, outside of elected office who are modeling that behavior. And part of the point of my book is to encourage more politicians, particularly those who enable this president on a daily basis, to take their cues not from the division that exists, in our society and sort of pushed even more so by social media, but instead take their cues from good people who are doing good things in our communities each and every day. And that's where I find the light.
Governor Shapiro, thanks for your time this morning. Where We Keep the Light is out tomorrow.